Greetings. Today I want to speak to you concerning indoctrination from birth till death and how your entire life can be spent here on this planet being fully indoctrinated and brainwashed. And I'm going to show you why the preachers have many things wrong and will keep you blind for the rest of your life, even unto your death. And so when you look at the dedication of a child, and you look at marriages, and you look at funerals, you will understand what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna go through each of these things that have been done to you to keep you in ignorance. And so let me go to the time of our birth and show you why we have been given things like birth papers and why they register us in a system and so on. So let me go first of all and show you that when we being expressed here on this planet, as I always teach you, that we came here in a state of amnesia, which is a state of forgetfulness. So we actually born being as blind and being dumb and being crippled. So when I say blind, I'm speaking about not having certain insight, because at that early stage, we just do not even know that we actually exist here. And from that very early stage, because of the ignorance of your parents, they will take you in a so-called church to a so-called preacher or a priest to do a so-called dedication. But this is basically they doing a ritual, an incantation, and putting a spell over you, because every word that we speak is actually a spell. And so when you come under their incantation, because you are coming under their spell, they are actually impressing from a very early stage your subconscious mind before you even conscious or aware that you are here on this planet. And all of these things have been put in place by the Jesuits and many others who would have planned how to keep the people in captivity, how to keep the masses controlled. So basically, at your birth, you've been brainwashed, you've been bamboozled at such a young stage when you do not even know that you're here having this human experience. And then your parents would go along with the system to make sure that you get your birth paper, and it carries a number which is actually a slave number to prove and to show that you're one who will come to the place of being controlled and being a worker on a plantation, because they're treating your life as if you are actually like an animal, and they do not want you to know that you are a sovereign being, that you are a spirit having a human experience. They do not want you to know that your real identity is actually your divinity. So they're making sure that they do these things very, very early on in your life. And so, my brother and my sisters, when they give you that board paper, after they already would have given you that dedication from a very, very young stage, They are waiting to make you a worker when you turn the age of 18. You're not ready for the plantation. And all of this is made possible because of a so-called church system, a religious system, whereby they use the fear of God to cripple the minds of the people. So the easiest way to brainwash a people and indoctrinate a people is to use the fear of God. And having this fear of God is you being fearful of your higher self, your true self. It is you hiding and running from your own self. Could you imagine? You hiding from your own self? You are afraid to face your own self and to believe and trust in your own self. You're fearful of the image that you behold in the mirror. That is what indoctrination from a very early stage is actually doing to you. And then, as they get you into the work system, they also would have already convinced you to have guilt and shame and judgment and condemnation towards yourself and towards expressing your sexuality. So when naturally speaking, you will feel horny or you will have these kind of feelings come upon you, which is actually the blossoming of you coming to a stage where you can bring forth just like yourself. They want to make sure that they control that aspect also. And so your mother and your father, for example, your mother never signed a piece of paper to see her monthly cycle. And as a young man, you never signed a piece of paper to get your first wet dream. But they've used religion and the fear of God to convince you that you have to sign a piece of paper and pay the government a certain amount of money so you can have sex without guilt and shame and condemnation and judgment towards yourself. Yet, at that time, you do not even know what is the meaning of sex. So you see how they're keeping you in ignorance and keeping you indoctrinated. For example, if you ask all those religious people all around the world and all of those Christians and a lot of the married people who married, if you ask them what is the meaning of the word sex, they do not know. If you ask the preachers and the pastors and the priests, many of them do not know. If you ask the marriage officer, none of them do not know. Okay, and even those who try to use the Bible to justify controlling your sexuality, there's nowhere in the Bible that they can show you that it says specifically to do these things. As a matter of fact, it says that marriage is actually a mystery. And the Bible itself is a mystery. In other words, it is encoded and must be decoded. So when you understand that your spirit having a human experience and you understand sacred energy exchange to be sex, and you understand how you have to cross your energy consciously, knowing that you can use this power to achieve your every desire, then you will understand how they are using it against you to control you and keep you in ignorance. So most so-called married people are actually having sex in ignorance and bringing forth a bunch of ignorant children in the world. And the process has been happening over and over and over and over again. And it's been done through religion, through the fear of God being used against you to influence your belief system. And then they have it so well organized that these religious people will make it their business to find the people who are sick on their beds. So they will visit the hospitals and they will visit the homes of people who are crippled, people who are sick, and people who are old, and they know they're gonna die because death is inevitable. They try to make you believe that death is some form of punishment, when actually a life or a birth being expressed here is a death in another realm, and a death over here is a birth in another realm. So basically, you cannot die unless you live. So if you're gonna celebrate your birth, you have to celebrate also your death, because it's actually the same thing. And as a matter of fact, it's a sleep. It's the sleep of amnesia. That is why we're born here in a state of amnesia, a state of forgetfulness. So how we came in is how we're gonna leave. Okay? So when you leave this body, you enter a state of amnesia. And so my brother, my sisters, they set up the funeral business. So your birth paper, your birth is a business. Okay? Then your sexuality, they make a business out of it also. And then your death, they make a business out of it also. And all of this has been done through the church system. So the church system, our religious system, is the real police system. It's the real military system, but it's a strategic military system that they use to control you without bombs and guns, without any kind of violence. But when you look at the origin of our Christianity, was forced upon the people through slavery. You know, it was done violently. Okay, the church has always been violent and criminal, with a lot of bloodshed and genocide. Okay, so yes, they set it up now to continue the energy of fear and the masses. So they set it up to convince people on their sick beds to accept Jesus and to accept Christianity, so that they can bring them in their church, their so-called churches, and preach a so-called sermon to bring fear and those who are here still having this human experience. And so funerals and weddings, they are scams. Birth papers, all of these things, all of these so-called documents that they say that you need to be able to travel, to do anything that you want to do on the face of this planet, it's all a scam. And that is why messages like this is needed to help to empower you to understand that you are a mass of energy, and that everything is energy, vibration, and frequency, because the most you can do is to raise your vibration and your frequency to understand your inner economy. And when you use your inner economy, you can transmute your energy into the equivalent of money and live on your own terms by giving Caesar what is due unto Caesar, and giving God, which is your higher self, the true self, what is due to your higher self. That is why you have to know yourself first. That is why you have to seek the kingdom of God that is within you, the kingdom of the higher self, the kingdom of the universe. That is why they do not want you to use the word universe. They prefer you use the word God, because they fail to realize that if you do not have life in you, you cannot speak about God, you cannot speak about the Bible, you cannot speak about the so-called Jesus. You cannot do none of those things if you do not have life. Because why? Life is God. The life in you is the power that is in you. The life that is in you is your everything. It's your all. So when you speak about the universe, we're speaking about the all. Because you cannot behold anything without the life that is within you. So it is an expression on the outside that you're beholding of the life that is within you. So the universe was not created by some entity outside of yourself. The universe, as we see as the outer expression, is a reflection of our inner self. So all is one. And so the entire cosmos that you behold on the outside and the Maya, it's all an illusion, because it is just the illusion of that which is real. Consciousness is what is real. Consciousness is the only reality. So your awareness of being is the only reality there is. And so they keep you in a prison for your mind, to control your mind, even up to the day you die. That's why my dead body, when I transition from here, will never be placed in a so-called church. No, sir. And I will never, ever in this life accept and believe in a savior outside of myself. So, my brother, my sisters, I'm bringing this message to you to say to you that it's never too late for you to break the indoctrination, to get rid of the brainwash, and to take back your power. You're an alchemist. You can create whatever you desire in this world because you're a mass of energy. And everything in this world has been expressed in the form of matter, have been expressed in the physical realm that we can contact with the five senses. You have to tap in first into the sixth sense. You have to tap into the wall of energy first, the wall of possibilities, the wall of the invisible. There is an invisible field, a quantum field of energy, and it is electrical and magnetic in nature. And so when you tap into your magnetic and electrical self, it could only be done through your mindset, through you changing your DNA from your thinking, your way of thinking. So what is determining your outer environment, the outer display of your life? It's all have to do with your thinking, because thoughts, they are frequencies, and your mind or your brain is a signal station. Your brain is actually a receiver, and is a receiver, okay, a frequency, and a transmitter of frequency. So you're receiving and transmitting frequency, and the more aware that you are of your mind and how your mind works, the more aware that you are that the Bible is actually a book of mind science, and it all have to do with alchemy, it all have to do with energy, vibration, and frequency. It all have to do with the anatomy of your body, and you understand your physiology and how you was put together. And inside of you is a science and a technology, and the computer, the internet, the cell phone, the television. All of these things are just an expression of who you are being expressed on the outside, but you are actually the greater in all of these things, because it all comes from the mind. So they are all the replica of you. So my brother, my sisters, there's no one in this world who have more power than you. We have the same power. There's only one power. The only creative power there is in this world is the power of imagination, because God in man is man's imagination. God is your awareness of being. It's the very life that is within you. That is why it takes you knowing who you are to break all of the generational curses, which is done through indoctrination, through mind control, and it's been done through religious, political, and educational system that want to keep you in the realm of memory only. And you're going to just remember what they program on your subconscious mind. But I'm saying to you, break the program and have a paradigm shift in your life by learning to believe in yourself, by learning to love yourself, to be open-minded, and not just to believe things based on theory, but learn to have experience, learn to be disciplined, so you can apply the practical in your life and prove for yourself that imagination creates reality. Prove for yourself that thoughts become things. Prove for yourself that you're the Lord and Master of your destiny, and that you can create your life whichever way you want it to be. Because as a man thinketh in his heart and his subconscious mind, so is he. Be the captain of your own ship. Run your own life. Come to realize that you are the government of your life. You are the prime minister and the president of your life. You are your own priest. You have a high priest of an order that is forever, the Melchizedek order, because you are an eternal being. You have no beginning and you have no end. You have no mother and no father. They are only portals for you being expressed here. So, my brother, my sister, this lecture this morning is to break all the forces that have been keeping you bound and have been keeping you materialistic and have you just going after the getting instead of the being. That is why, because they understand time in terms of cycles, they understand the whole zodiac and how it's been put together. And so they're giving you things now because they know that you're gullible. Things like the law of attraction and all these things that they would have had hidden, and all of that is to deter you and slow you down from coming to the true message of self-realization, because they know that certain souls will be expressed around this time and this planet and bringing people to the message of self-realization, pointing them to look inwardly to discover that their real identity is their divinity, so that they can take back their power and take back their identity. Because those who have been keeping the people in captivity, they've been surviving under the power of stolen identity, stealing your identity, stealing your energy, and keeping you in captivity. Captivity towards knowing who you are. Captivity towards knowing your true potential, knowing your genius CEO mind. They'll be keeping you from that. So they created a false educational system, a political system, and a religious system to keep you bound, even up to the day of your death. They want to speak their lies over you. Shame on you for having any of your family members or anyone who is alive now to ever give you some sort of thing called some sort of funeral service. Shame on you. I've seen so many in my country who profess to be Rastafarians and who so profess to be conscious and upright, and the families take them and train them in a so-called church, right, where the preachers say, well, they accepted and they repented and their beds while they were sick, and then they belong to this. Some was Orthodox, some was this, some was that. Yet they're shooting a bunch of shit about sexuality and about consciousness and about Africa and about black people this and black people that. And when they die, they end up in a damn church with a preacher shooting a bunch of shit over their dead body to bring fear and those who are here. So my brother and my sisters, this could definitely easily turn into a rant. But I want you to wake up and grab a hold of your life and make a declaration while you are here. You see, some people are waiting until they die. Back here in my country, people still saving money for the death. They have something here called bun pan. It's like a kind of bank in a way, where they save money for the death. I grew up meet my grandmother and them saving money for the death. So they could get what they call a good funeral, with some preacher talking some sort of shit over the chronicle of their life. That's why my Bible ends with the book of Chronicles, because it's a summary of your life here. And it starts with John, the book of John. My Bible starts with the book of John. John is love. You must begin your conquest if you're going to conquer and rule your life for yourself. You have to start with self-love. You have to go before the mirror. This life is a mirror. And you're always out picturing yourself. So if you have a religious, superstitious mentality, a one-chap mentality, that is what you display. And that is what I've been seeing in my country. That is why in my country, the people who live here are not the entrepreneurs. It is the Chinese, the Syrians, and all the other foreigners. And the highly light-skinned people whose parents were actually slave masters who raped the women and could not carry back those kind of children Back in Europe, they leave them down here in certain parts of the islands, and it's throughout all the Caribbean, and they leave certain teaching with them. Time for people to break that shit, man. Get rid of all mental slavery. And the only one that can emancipate you is you. So you can think that I am crazy. You can think that I am demon possessed. Or you can believe that I am a self-realized being. That I am a self-actualized being. That I am an awakened being. I'm one who been expressed here on this planet for this time to teach our people how to wake up out of the sleep of death by accepting a message of self-realization to be their true salvation. It's been happening, and it has always been happening. But very few will ever receive the message of self-realization because they love the plantation and they love their slave masters and their protocols that they give to them to live by. But my brother and my sisters, I believe I would have gotten my message across to you, and I want to come to a close here because I can go on and on and on and on and on and rant about this. But the whole thing I want you to do is to wake up and realize that from your birth to your death, they have it well figured out. And you have to break that shit. You have to realize that these preachers are just speaking a lot of shit. Because simple thinking will show you that no one who do not have a life could ever tell you about God. How could someone tell you about God if there's no life? If they don't have any life? Could a dead man tell you about God? No, he's dead. And when I say dead, you understand, he's transcend this physical realm. That's what I mean. So, life is God, and God is life. Everything is in your perception. Everything is life. So my brother, my sisters, don't give your life away. Take control of your life and live it on your own terms. So with that being said, my brother, my sisters, I want to thank you very much for listening to me. I want to say to you, if this is the very first time that you're listening to me, what I'm saying, if it makes sense to you, if it really resonates with you and you haven't subscribed already, I definitely want to encourage you to subscribe, to like, to comment, or to share this video. Also, if you would like to follow me on Instagram, or you would like to follow me on TikTok, you can definitely follow me at BlackMadGuru. And if you feel strongly to support this work, I just want to remind you that we have a PayPal, and the link is always down below. Also, you can choose to be a part of my Patreon community and support this work continually as we work together for the advancement and the upliftment of all of humanity, pointing each and everyone to look inward to discover that their real identity is their divinity, and that true salvation is actually self-realization. Also, I have a $20 course. It's called The Inner Sun Science and Technology to Create Your Reality Consciously. And it's all about you tapping into the inner sun that is within you, the light that is within you, so you can live from your light body. And when you live from your light body, you definitely tap into your creativity and use your ability for the upliftment and advancement of all of humanity. And you will be able to come up with the right ideas of science and technology, because science and technology have a lot to do with your spirituality. And if you do that, you will realize that you are in alignment with the S-U-N. For whatever the sun shines upon, it brings forth bountifully. And every race upon the face of this earth, every scientist, every doctor, every lawyer, every prime minister, every president, every king, every queen, whoever they are, even though they're claiming to be aristocrats when there is no aristocrats, okay? There's only aristocrat of the spirit, because we are spirit of a human experience. Even they have to depend on the light of the sun, for nothing exists without the sun. That's why even the Bible tells us that the Lord thy God is a sun, a S-U-N, not a S-O-N. No S-O-N can ever exist unless there first be the S-U-N. The S-U-N has always been the savior of the world, the giver of all life. And it says that he will never withhold any good thing from you. And that's why, as I said before, the Son is what powers all of humanity and give all of humanity its energy. And you are told also in Malachi 1:2 that the Son of Righteousness shall arise in you. That is an awakened imagination. That is the virgin birth it is speaking about there. That is the resurrection it is speaking about there. That is your awakening. That is you coming to true enlightenment it is speaking about. He said, shall arise in you with healing in his wings. True healing and righteousness come from what? Self-realization. It's a realization. It's not something you try to attain. It's not by works. It's by grace. Unmerited, unfavored love. It's unconditional love. Love yourself and believe in yourself. That's why I'm saying to you, look within to find the inner sun and get in alignment with the inner sun so that your life will bring forth bountifully. So if you feel strongly to listen to those videos, I'll definitely encourage you to do so. At this time, I just want to say peace. Love you all. I'm out.